flood market of Michigan.
Now, with risk rating 2.0, I already talked about the policy coverages aren't changing, but we're going to go through them real quick just to make sure. $250,000, I don't have it up here, but it's $250,000 on residential, and it's $500,000 on the building on commercial. It's $100,000 on contents coverage, and it's $500,000 on business property. Something that is not on the NFIP, that is on a lot of private policies, is loss of use or additional living expenses. When we talk about private flood insurance in just a second, we'll go kind of deep into some scenarios with that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some of these risk rating 2.0 impacts here locally in Michigan. I call them the good, the bad, and the ugly. These were areas where we saw rates go down, or we saw rates go up. We saw areas that even were ugly. And these were areas where we saw more than a $1,200 rate increase with their new program. Now, the time period has passed because renewals are now in 2.0, but when it first came out, you could actually option into 2.0 or you could option out until the renewal came up. And so that was a big thing for customers, like, well, I'm not ready to go in. When the renewal came up in 2022, you didn't have a choice. But the good is that were areas generally where you saw something like probably less than a $100 decrease where rates were going down. The areas where we have seen this the most is going to sound crazy, is actually flood zone AE, which is your high-risk flood zone. The areas where we've seen the biggest increase are actually flood zone X, where the flood insurance was $500. And flood insurance wasn't required because preferred ratings with FEMA went away. And that's why we saw that huge increase. The bad, as I said, stuff we're talking about where it's gone up more than $100 per year. FEMA's frame was $0 to $10 per month, but we used to see them a whole lot more than that when they came out with this. But then, of course, the ugly were ones where we saw rates more than $1,200 per month. And in just a second, we're actually going to go through 5 areas here in Michigan where we've seen those.